Hi folks, it's Bruno Biava once again. Welcome again to my shop, and we're going to discuss a couple of more things about the Kyosho Blizzard and the Trail King. For those of you who are new Blizzard owners, this is more aimed at you than anybody else. We all have a chance to learn and teach here, and hopefully I can teach you a few tricks that I've learned myself in order to pass along some wisdom so that you can get the most out of your Blizzard or Trail King too. Now, let's assume that you've gone ahead and bought a Blizzard, or you've been gifted one, and you've started to drive it. And you may have noticed that going down the road or down the trail, that it has a tendency to pull to one way or the other. The first thing you need to know is that typically, as the battery drains, the Blizzard will pull more to the right. It is just a tendency of them, and it's a great way to also figure out when you've drained the battery. If it'll turn right and it won't turn left, or if it'll go to the right and will not go straight, it means your battery's just about dead. That's something that's very consistent with them. Those of you who are veteran Blizzard and Trail King owners already know this. I'm just putting it out there for the newbies. Number two, it is normal for a tracked vehicle to pull to one side or to the other, just like it is for a car as it encounters a crowned road or a crosswind, to pull to one side or the other, no matter how straight the alignment is. This is just the challenge of driving a miniature vehicle. It seems accentuated because you cannot literally feel the resistance or the cause of the resistance that makes the vehicle want to pull from one side to the other. Now, granted, you want your vehicle to go as straight as possible on a flat surface and on a calm day and without any obstacles to climb. Even still, if you're running two stick, it's good to have a little bit extra on one side to play with than the other. That way, when you're running full bore with one stick and she's going straight, you can actually steer with the stick that you have a little bit of reserve with. But all that being said, if you find that your Blizzard pulls and it's more than you want, here's some places to look. First thing you want to do is you want to gather some tools. You want to get not just one, but a pair of 7mm sockets. All right, the reason you want a pair of them is because we're going to be going up here and we're going to be adjusting our chain tension. You're going to need both sockets because you're going to use one on this side and one over here on the other side as you're adjusting that tension. When you make the tension, what you're aiming for is, if you look at the Blizzard totally, or as much from the side as you can, you're aiming for enough tension that when you lift the chain like this with a screwdriver, you see that little hole back there right here? You want that chain tension just loose enough that you can just about cover that hole. You don't have to be perfect, but you want to be just about to cover that hole or to come very close to it. You want it like that on both sides. So what you do is you make your adjustment on one side first, tighten it down, not too tight, but tighten it down. Go over to the other side, make the adjustment over here, and then come back to the first side and double check your work. And then if you find the chain has gotten looser on this side or tighter on this side, readjust it once again so that chain is just about even with that little hole. All right? The reason you want to go from here to there and back is because the arbor or axle it runs upon, as you move it back and forth, it will twist slightly back and forth like this. And because the chain drive arbor, that the final drive rides on, extends so far out, all right, it exaggerates just how far or how much moving one side impacts the other, so you have to compensate for that. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure, by removing the wheels, that the suspension system is set up correctly. This is how I do it. You want to make sure that the number 1 guide roller wheel is set up as Kyosho indicates, with the suspension springs set between this pin and the second and third pin. You can see how that's set up, all right? That's how the number 1 or forwardmost guide wheel should be set up, all right? The secondmost guide wheel should be set up between the second and third pin, and to start with, the number 3 guide wheel should be set up between the second and third pin. It should be this way on both sides. Once you've made sure of that, then you come back here and you begin to set up the tension for the trailing wheel, all right, or number 4 guide wheel. Let me go ahead and put this on pause and reinstall the wheels, and we'll go through the rest of this process. Stand by.